there was a meeting of the opposition parties, which was called by Zuma. And I said, I'm not going. So I asked Floyd and Marshall to attend the SG. They went and Dali was there. Dali went to make a presentation of a paper in that first meeting where he said the EFF must close down with the other parties and then form something under Zuma's leadership.
So the EFF party have been going through a restructuring, basically. And they have some prominent leaders of the EFF party leaving the party to join the MK party. And in my opinion, this is a very opportunistic reason for some of these leaders to leave to switch party, because MK party is on an uprise, which is normal. They have not yet been tested or proven if they're a good party or not. They haven't been up for not even a year as yet. So Julius Malema was given some background on what causing this reshuffling of the EFF party. And me personally, I stand with Julius Malema and the EFF party. But let's listen to what he said in this interview, and then we can draw one conclusion as to why some of these people are leaving the party. Take a listen. Boom.
What I like about Dali is that there was a meeting of the opposition parties, which was called by Zuma. And I said, I'm not going. So I asked Floyd and Marshall to attend the SG. They went and Dali was there. Dali went to make a presentation of a paper in that first meeting where he said the EFF must close down with the other parties and then form something under Zuma's leadership. I mean, things happen the way they happen. I mean, Floyd and Marshall, you know him, he's just there and he speaks when it is necessary. But Floyd is the one who was leading the discussion. Who said, no ways, it's not going to happen, and all of that. And then he comes back extremely shocked that Dali is not only proposing it, he has written it down. He has had time to think about it and wrote it down. So I said, no. So then we agreed that we must meet, all parties must go consult their leadership, blah, blah. What is our position? I said, but that's madness. We can't do that. We closed the EFF to Zuma. Not 1 year. It was not even formed at that time. To what? Like, to do what? I don't understand that. Then perhaps Dali realizes they are not doing a good job. He comes himself to me when they were all there as the officials in the 5th floor. He says, no, he wants to see me. I said, no, sharp, come. But I knew what he was going to tell me. So I brought Floyd and I brought Marshall into the meeting. And then he said that. He says, so I told him, no, it's not going to happen. I don't agree with that. And there's no EFF that is going to close shop. In his skillful way, you know, him said, okay, plus we are late now in the elections. Maybe after the elections, we can engage about it again. I said, no problem. And then, again, Floyd and Marshall went back to the meeting to give their party structures a position. They came back and said to me, the president of ATM, Zungula, said, of all of us here, parties, the only party with a national footprint, which is properly established with machinery, is the EFF. Let's collapse this thing. Let's collapse all of us into the EFF. Olomisa was in that meeting. That president of the PAC was there. I don't know if Carl Neos was there or what. They were all there. I still refuse. I said, I'm not going. I'm not part. I don't agree with that. And then that's what they said. Zungula is the one who said, actually, the EFF is the way. Then Zuma responded and said, no. Can you imagine an old person voting for EFF? These old people will never agree to vote for the EFF. And he told them the footprint of how, if we come together, we're going to get the votes from where, and all of that. And then after the second meeting, we came back. Then they say, no, Zuma wants to see me. 4 eyes. I said, no problem, I'll go. Dali says he's going to come, but I already know what Dali is up to. So I bring Vuyani. I said, Vuyani, let's go together. No, when we entered the meeting, President Zuma asked me to stay in the meeting with him. And then Dali and some other chubby guy, I can't remember what was his name, but he came from President Zuma's side, and Vuyan asked them to excuse us so that we can have a discussion. So I remained with President Zuma. He started making that presentation and all of that. But Floyd told me that in the first meeting, Zuma addressed them for 3 hours. In the second meeting, it was relatively better. He addressed them for 2 hours. So I said, how do you allow that? They say, hey, we're thinking maybe General will stop him or something. Hey, but we sit there and just listen. I said, no problem. So when they said he wants to see me, 10, 15 minutes into the discussion, I interjected him because at the back of my mind was like, you're not going to address me for 2 hours. It's not going to happen. Not 3 hours. I said, no, Baba, but I was thinking, you endorse the EFF. And then after endorsing the EFF, we'll have a proper discussion because we are now late, just on the eve of the elections. And then we can talk about what are the issues that you want us to take up in the immediate and all of that. And then he said, well, it's too late because I'm launching a party on the 16th of December. And I think we're like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before that. Hard luck. But let's take up this discussion after the elections. The meeting ended. If it took long, it's 20 minutes. We're done. And then we opened the door for those guys to come back. They were all like, so quick. I was like, no, we know what we want.
So now we get a full scope of what transpired behind closed doors between Floyd, who switched part of the MK, and Delhi, and the other people who were already switching. These talks was in talks even before the MK party was formed. It was in talks, and because the EFF, Julius Malema didn't want to do what they want, because if they want to put all other parties to come into to absorb into the EFF, they are not on the same page. They don't have the same goals. They don't have the same mentality. So what? They will only come to the party to get votes and then to cast, and that's how parties become ripped apart. So he rightfully he refused. So now Zuma, former President Zuma, which I don't know why he's still trying to be the president. He should leave it to the younger people. But no, he recruited EFF members even before his party was formed. And then they put in place a plan to say, okay, if the EFF party garner more votes, we'll stick with them. But if we get more votes, I can switch over. And that's what happened. The MK party got more votes, so Floyd switched over and Delhi. So this show you where their loyalty was. Their loyalty was not with the party originally. Their loyalty was only in their position and their political future and their political power. That's all they was interested in. Because if they was really genuinely interested in being, if member, they would not even entertain that meeting. After the first meeting, they would have gone back to a second and a third meeting because of what was said about the EFF closing down and joining the MK party, which is ridiculous because the MK party is a new party. They're not even a year old yet. So you can imagine they haven't been tested yet or gone through any kind of issue to help people yet. So how is it they want to make it seem like Julius Malema is a bad leader when they are the ones who was conspiring behind his back? So I'm with Julius Malema here 100% because this is betrayal on these people's part who's leaving the EFF party to join the MK party are because of their numbers. But let's see what happens in a couple of years when the EFF party stands strong and rebuild, even though they're going to do this reshuffling, when the EFF party stays strong and rebuild, because now people are going to actually see that Julius Malema is actually a true leader for standing his ground and haven't been shaken. And this will going to also garner him more respect and more supporters, and then they're going to become better in the next election. And then the MK party going to be the opposite. Watch and see. So they're going to sorry in the long run because the MK party is not a unit yet, because they're putting in people and then they're bringing in people from next part, and then they're putting these new people over who was there. Like Floyd is now the SG, the Secretary General, which is like this high up on the totem pole when it comes to the party. You think who was there all this time gonna okay with that? And these are all these other new people who's coming in, going above them. We're gonna see a big issue between the MK party members in a year or two. Watch and see. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue with the video, and then we're gonna finish it.
Because it was not going to happen. I don't regret our position that which we took against President Zuma at the time. And this I asked Floyd if he thinks he has forgiven us for what we have done to him. I don't think he has forgiven us for that. And it doesn't matter, but we were not misled. We're not misled. Everything else we articulated, it was a correct position of the EFF, and it remains the correct position of the EFF. Having developed those positions around Zuma as the EFF, we now say this guy must now be our leader. We can't agree to that. We can't agree to that. So, and that's the thing I respect about Dali, because he has been open about it. He has been speaking about it. And one day, when I write a book, I will have a lot of stories to tell. Even on how Dali became Zuma's lawyer on some of these matters. So, so this morning, when I woke up to the news, I was like, it is what it is. Yeah, so he has sent me a message. First, he sent me a message about the birthday of his daughter turning 21st. So I didn't respond because I could see what Dali was doing. So I knew if he sends me invitation to a 21st birthday party, it means he has sent to everyone, which means we're all going to be united under Dali's leadership. And then he's going to project himself as this guy who brought all of them under one roof. So I said, no, I'm not responding because I'm not going there. And then he sent me now a text a few days after that he wants to see me urgently because he knows Parliament is in recess. He can come to the office, or I go to his house, or he comes to my house. I didn't respond. And because we're so used to this now, my wife says to me, he wants to say his goodbyes. No. I'm not good for. I'm not good for goodbyes. So
To the end of
I'm fine. I don't want. So let him do what he wants to do. So we respect his decision, and there's nothing we can do about it. He has been there. I know of the work they've been doing. I know of the work he has been doing and all of that. So this has never been a shock to me. It was just about when is it about to happen. It's going to happen anytime, but we just don't know when. So it eventually happened, and we're fine.
So that's the end of the interview. So you see, all of this was pre-planned, and now they're just following through. So for those who are saying Julius Malema is not a good leader, he's a bad leader, regardless, Julius Malema still stands firm to his morals and his duty to his people, especially to the citizens of South Africa. So I would say you cannot trust any leader who jumps ship to an next party. If you have an issue with Julius Malema, you speak to him in a public forum, in a debate or whatever. But you don't just go behind his back, switch party, and then garner a position in the next party, and then act as if he is the one who's at fault. No, I cannot trust no one who jumps ship after all this time. You cannot trust them because they become trustworthy. So now their political aspiration now take a hit because what? They are now known to switch party and not be loyal. So their loyalty is now in question. No one can question Julius Malema's loyalty. And you see, for people saying he's corrupt and he's that, Julius Malema have beat every single court case put against him. And he not only beat them, he disgraced them in court because Julius Malema is very brilliant. And when you are speaking the truth and you're not coming from a place of hate, you can speak without notes. You can speak without a teleprompter. For those who know that, you can speak without being um without pre-preparing. You just speak from your heart and and know I want to know yourself, and that's what Julius Malema has always done. He know what he have done and what he does not, so he can speak fluently, plainly, and directly to anyone about any situation. That's why he always win his court case, and even scold judges, politicians. He scold everyone who try to cross him, lawyers, because what? Julius Malema is a true patriot, and this is why he will garner more support in the next election. And that's what now people are actually seeing who Julius Malema really is and who his supporters around him are, because they're opportunistic. You will have younger people rise up to the ranks, so that's not a problem for these ones to leave because their heart was not in it. Because again, as I said earlier, they pre-plan this with President Zuma, former President Zuma, to basically sabotage the EFF party. And this is what they have tried to do, but Julius Malema must stand firm. And you see, he's not angry, he's not belligerent, he's not he does not feel duped. He said, hey, it is what it is. We just get new people. So let's see what's gonna happen from this moment forward to see how this thing gonna pan out eventually. So anyway, give your thoughts in the comment section as I always don't know. Tell a friend, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Boom.